Yeah, try to do it.
For another episode of Just Kidding News. Today we have Ryan as the host.
Okay.
What else do we have?
Well, introduce everybody.
This is Nick the ear.
Why do you look like a squirrel?
I'm a squirrel. Anthony the nose.
Okay.
Ken,
Why you gotta
good
do
guy.
that?
Wow, good guy.
Joe the bad guy.
Dark side. Yin and yang, dude.
Yeah, the good guy. Joe.
I clearly, like, those were jokes.
Yeah.
This, what was that?
I think your nose is great.
Nick the ear, Anthony the nose.
Anything else to say? That's all.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah,
That means you went for the first.
it should be
one.
Anthony the hair, dude. Look at his hair, bro.
It's really good hair.
You're backing him up, but I'm just saying that happened. I'm not insecure.
Your hair is great.
It's great hair.
Your hair overpowers everything.
Ryan the host, Nick the ear.
So, no article right now. We're off the record. I thought this would be a really cool thing to talk about. It might really help somebody. But we've all done different things in our lives. We've been around quite a bit. That we've had different ventures and attempted several different projects. Not all of them work out.
Is it?
How do you stay positive when something you're doing is failing?
I'll go first. You fucking learn from your mistake and you move on.
So you move on.
That's the simple answer.
Completely from the thing you're doing. You quit doing it.
Boring. It sounds easier. It sounds easy, but it's actually not, because the thing that mostly holds you back is your pride, your ego from your previous identity, from whatever that is. Because it's like,
true.
Look,
if you use
the
this,
fans don't need fortune cookie answers. They want to know real shit. What failed and what are you
I'll
talking
tell you,
about?
dude. I'll tell you what.
Get to the meat, baby.
So-
That's true, because that just sounds like every other fucking answer that you get on like a meme on an Instagram inspirational page. I didn't
Right.
know you were Gary V.
That's the fast answer. I'm gonna explain it. Though.
Okay.
I'll explain it to you. So,
Garage sales.
all right, let's say I've had.
That's what Gary Vee says.
So one of the main things is I feel like my dance career, right? A lot of people don't see that, but to me, I feel like I failed in my dance career. But then that was the old me like a few years ago.
But you won ABDC. What are you talking about? That was the end of it.
Right.
Some of us went on the show and lost, Can.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing.
Ungrateful.
No, here's the thing though. Like, even if you win and you have this successful career, and then it stops, it makes you feel like you're a failure.
Okay.
Because it's like, how come I'm not getting any more shows? Or how come my manager fucking stole money from me and now we have to get a new manager? And then all this shit starts happening. You're like, did my business just fail? And then you start questioning yourself. So that's when I was like, okay, so if this makes me a failure, what do I do now? And why does it make me a failure, right? But then when you won't know that until you go through like whatever, and then you realize like, you're not failing if you keep going, because then you can just keep building, right?
Yeah.
I would like to apologize for my earlier comment. That was very real. I just want to respect that.
Hey.
You spoke from the heart, and that fucking inspired me.
That's really cool of you to kind of retract that statement.
I'm just saying, man.
That's so funny. No, because that's like kind of the thing was I realized that like, why am I basing my identity and my career just on dancing? You know, because like,
Fair, yeah.
if I didn't do this anymore as a dancer, and then people could be like, oh, like your career's not nothing anymore because you don't do it anymore. But it's like, because you know how like some celebrities, they have their golden era and then it just ends and it's like, oh, they're not relevant anymore. So that's what was going on in my head. It's like, are we relevant? Are we not relevant? But then at the same time, it's just kind of me beating myself up and making myself think that. But then once I let go of that and I let go of my previous identity and just kind of let it die, then it allowed me to kind of feel like, oh shoot, like it was never really there. It's just something that you make up in your head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Follow-up question. Do you still want to dance for your career?
Dude, I'm still dancing.
He just dances everywhere he goes.
So what I realized was like, I was never even in control of my career in the first place, because at that time, it was just the opportunities that were just coming. And for me, all I did was just dance and take these opportunities.
Like ride that wave.
Exactly, because even though there's not as much opportunities now, it's not my fault. So I didn't fail. It's just how things are right now, because I still practice, I still do everything I do to like maintain my talent and everything. But the thing is, if there's no opportunities here, it's either I'm not looking for them, or also it's just not the right time.
Well, you're not creating it either. But also you have a business now, so you're not really.
Yeah, but also I realized that I don't want to be stuck to just one thing because to me, like, I think change is growth. And if you're not constantly reinventing yourself or changing something, you're gonna feel that same feeling of like, oh no, my career's not where it used to be, then how can I make it better? And you're chasing that, right? But the moment you start chasing it, that's when I feel like you're setting yourself up for like the crash.
But it's such a fine line because sometimes you're like, if I don't chase it, then I'm not working hard enough or creating opportunities.
Yeah, says you though, but then that's only, see the thing is, even though you chase it and if it doesn't come, it's like, it was never your, yeah, exactly. But yeah.
That's actually.
What's the question again?
How do you manage when you
How do you stay positive while you're failing at something?
Hole in one for Joe, dude. Man, dude.
Well, okay, so it doesn't always have to be entire projects. Like maybe we take it more at the individual level. How do you stay positive when you're bombing on a set?
Sorry.
I don't
laugh
think
at that.
You're like, let's not talk so general. Let's get specific.
When you're
bombing.
How do you know?
Because you're not failing. There's no way you're failing.
I never bomb. I'm fighting all the time.
Wow.
No, I think
standing O's.
But you always. But I feel like that's with everything. Like everybody like fails. Like and everybody you have to bomb and you have to. Yeah, but then who said it first? Is like they're like it's how you take it. Like you were like earlier when people said, "God damn your ears," remember?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, Nick. I'm just.
Anthony
saying
said that. Ryan was the one that said you were bombing, dude, not me.
I know. No, I love.
No, you're right.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
Fucking ears, man.
I gotta change my name to something else, dude.
I'm Anthony the Nose right now.
You have a great nose. Sorry, what were you saying?
I love you.
Oh, you do.
I never thought of, so like when people say that stuff like how do you stay positive or whatever, right? I think like it can be easily misunderstood as suppressing your issues and stress and keeping a smile, right? Like, and then so for me, I'm more impulsive. So like if I'm pissed, I'm pissed. If I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. But I think what the key is how do you get back up and try again when you've been slapped in the face 1,000 times. Yeah. And so you don't have to stay happy because I mean naturally who does feel happy when shit's going down? But I think the strength in it all is to remember what you're in it for the first place and then get back and go again.
Ooh, that's
and I think that becomes easier to do once you've built the confidence in achieving things. So I think there's different stages in someone who goes out and challenges themselves to pursue something. The first stage is like, hey, I might be doing something that isn't safe or traditional. Like maybe I'll go pursue my own passion or whatever. And then the first stage is, can I even support myself doing this, right? And then you go and then you might get pushback from family members. You might get people ridiculing you like, you'll never be a dancer or whatever the fuck, right? It's like a fucking movie, right?
That sounds like the choreographer talking.
Yeah. No,
and then you get to that stage.
Got what it takes.
You get to that stage and then you're actually paying the bills now in whether it's your own business or something that you kind of doubted yourself in, and you're proving to yourself that, oh cool, I could put my mind to something and I can achieve it. Then the next stage is, well, how do I be remarkable or different, or like how do I be a legend, or how do I do something, like you want to grow within what you do, right? And then you might even get burnt out because like 15 years of doing something, you might be like, I'm kind of bored of the same space, the same people. Maybe I want some other stimulation. Maybe I'll do another sport or something different. And I think it's like this constant pursuit of like, I'm curious about this. But I do think there's a breakthrough where you no longer question, can I do this? Am I good enough? You just know that anything you put your mind to, you just keep trying, and it's just time. That's all it is, practice and time and getting better over and over and over and over. And then it's just that repetition where you become better at something.
Do you have any examples from your life where you were doing something?
I think right now, so like during COVID, you know, the only thing I had going for myself was JK News, right? And that was my highlight. It's like, it was really fun, but I used to do JK 7 days a week, but COVID was like, I'm only seeing you guys every 2 weeks. And then we shut down a lot of channels. The fun part was, it was the first time in many, many years where I had total freedom. Like, I wasn't in a relationship. I could do whatever I want. I could travel the world. If I wanted to, I'm calling my homies up and we're like snowboarding every fucking day till our legs are dead. And then, so that was really fun because I was like, this is what it's like to be retired. And then I did it for a year and I realized no matter what, something felt empty. Like you can't just chase desires and fun. Like, after a while, you go to your favorite restaurants every single fucking day, then it gets to the point of like, it's normal. So then it's like you can't chase feelings, right? Of what do you call it? Like stimulation. Then you go, I need something that I can fight against. I need something, and one of the best things that actually happened to me was losing over like 7 figures and wiping out almost all of the money I had. Because then it brought me back to this space of like, I have nothing. Well, I had a little bit, but I had just enough to invest back into Junbi in Hawaii. And now this became my fight. And that became like, I have to make this work. Because if I had 1.5 mil in my bank account, I would have not taken it seriously. And I told my partners this too, like, that's actually a good thing that happened to this, because I would have just paid a bunch of people as much as I could to solve and just keep it running. And I wouldn't care if it made money. But then because that happened to me and I kind of hit rock bottom, not really, but it was just enough. So it was just enough to where I could pay for it. It was just enough to where I could pay my bills, but it was enough to make me afraid, like I lost everything.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then when I was in Hawaii, like, I'm just like, now I'm driven. Now I'm like, this has to work. If this doesn't fucking work, I fail all my partners, I fail everything. And then I felt alive and happy. And it was the weirdest feeling because it's like, I had more bank in my bank last year, but I wasn't this happy, struggling and fighting to make it work. Yeah.
You know, that's why I think failure is an illusion that we create for ourselves. But I think that it's disguised as failure, but really what it is like life setting a fire under you to just say, hey, go now or else
do something.
Yeah, that's what it really is.
But you wouldn't have that perspective if you didn't have a lot and then lose it, and then if you just was struggling the whole time, you wouldn't feel the way the gratefulness that you feel unless you get that perspective of, you know what I mean?
I think
in order
so.
to learn.
I think like I thought I wanted the passive income and retired life. I thought I wanted that, and I dreamed about it. And then when I actually had it, it's true what people say, like that stuff is not everything. You actually lose a sense of motivation and purpose.
Yeah.
So then getting to that point, this point right now, is I'm in a much more happier place, even though I'm more stressed. And then like they're like, "Are you okay?" Like my family members are just like, "Dude, I know you lost a lot." I'm like, I'm actually way happier. And the best way I can explain it is like, you know, when you play a game or sports, right? Like it gets intense because you're really in it. So you could get angry. There's a lot of emotions, but at the end of the day, it's stressful, but you love it. Yeah. And then you end the game, and then you feel the relief, like that was a great fucking game. Right. I might have lost, I might have won, but the game was sick, and I felt like alive.
The journey, man.
That's really what it feels like.
You wouldn't have that if you had so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the key, is experiencing the retirement phase, and then realizing it's not for me. And that's why I see why people, they actually die after retirement, or they get into depression after the retirement. Like you lose your purpose. Yeah.
That's deep, bro.
Yeah. So then the idea of failure, to me, I think it's changed this definition, because I definitely do believe the word failure. I was afraid to fail. Like when I was doing JK, and then like I quit college, or I finished college, and I was like, I'm not gonna do the regular 9 to 5. I'm gonna do YouTube. I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of like, I'm not gonna make enough money doing this. Yeah. And then every year went by, and I'm paying the bills, and then it becomes abundant, you become successful enough to where you can pay for a team and everything, and then you're afraid to fail, like, and not being able to pay your team, and it's always there. But the definition of failure changes because someone might see that you're successful, but you might think you're not, you're failing. Yeah. But I don't know if now I see failure the same way as I did before. Like, I'm not afraid to fail in the same way anymore. Yeah.
That was really good.
That was very good.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No, I kind of relate.
Not after that.
I feel like you tied that up on a nice little bow. And you,
Let's go back to your bombing though.
But I don't know.
You not kill yourself.
it must be so embarrassing up there, am I right?
But you guys are all self-employed and like entertainers or entrepreneurs in your own right. Like, you know what I'm talking about when it comes to those stages, right? And in the beginning, everyone has that fear of, can I do it?
Yeah.
And can I pay for like my life doing what I want to? Or
I never thought I'd be able to pay my bills doing what I do, just like training people or like being a coach. What's up?
Is it not good?
It can. It's like really stressful sometimes.
No, his bills are just that low.
Yeah, I live in my wife pays for everything. Nah, but like, you know, you always question, like, can I do this? Is this a real job? People always tell you like, oh, you must, like, how do you survive? How do you pay for things? And there's times where it's like real slow, and like with clients and people are out of town, like this is like slow seasons, and you're just like, fuck, how am I gonna pay for this? And you have that anxiety, but like sometimes you need your back against the wall for you to actually push yourself to try to do something different, right? That growth that you're looking for. Because otherwise, if there's not a fire under your ass, then what the fuck else are you gonna do? Sometimes you get really comfortable, and I think that's like, it's really easy to do that. And sometimes over the years of doing this for so long, there's been times where I'll kind of like coast and be like, oh yeah, things are going good, you know, I have clients, I'm booked up, blah, blah, blah. And then when the slow season hits, you're like, oh fuck, oh man, like I can't do this anymore. I need to make sure that you're always kind of pushing forward and trying to like add more things to your business or trying to find a new way to gain leverage in what you're doing, because otherwise, like that sense of security, like you always feel like you need it in a lot of ways. But I think you need to leverage it by trying to find new ways to improve either your business and finding that leading edge, because otherwise you kind of get stale and you get complacent. And sometimes it does take like COVID to fucking slap you in the face and realize like, oh yeah, your job can be taken away from you like that, and then you have no fucking living. Like for so long, I never thought I'd be able to train people online or like coach people or like understand how to, like for so long, I was always in a gym and I was like, this is my safety net. I'm totally cool seeing clients all day, whatever. And then once that was taken away from me, I realized like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I was panicking, dude. I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna live in a fucking box. And then it forced me to be like, oh, okay, there's a whole nother thing like the internet that could help you, like, you know, build your business or leverage something else for yourself and bolster like a little bit more support. And if it wasn't for that, I would have never done that, because so many people like Joe would be like, you should coach people online, and I was like, no dude, it would never. and part of it is ego, right? Because you feel like you know everything, you feel like, and these guys have had so many conversations with me, and I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna do it this way, and I'm like, oh, what a fucking idiot.
It's also comfort.
Yeah, it's comfort.
You want to build your business in the way you want to build it.
And it's inexperience, and sometimes you need to get humbled by everything, and you realize that like once you pull back a little bit, it's so much of the reason why you don't do things is your own ego, and like what Ken said, like you think you know everything, you think you've done it all, but in reality you don't know fucking shit about nothing, dude. Yeah. What does Ruth say in Ozarks? You don't know shit about fuck. You don't know fuck about shit.
Dude,
yeah, something like that.
Else too, here's another thing that people don't really talk about is like if you decide to quit your coaching or you decide to quit dancing, you decide to quit, it's like you're not really quitting.
It's all good.
It's a pivot.
It's fucking fine.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter.
But if you like something, then yeah, if you like, oh, I like this thing, then you could give up. Because I think about that with comedy all the time.
Like,
I'm
even
like,
if it doesn't work out, and like let's say you're absolutely fucking no income from this, nothing, and you decide, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking be a lawyer or some shit, dude. Nobody's gonna give a fuck. Like
Except for you. You're the only one that punishes yourself.
exactly, and that's where you fail, right? But then it's like, why do we have to believe that?
You're holding yourself back.
but what if you don't have another thing that you like or like want to do? Then you're like, well, I'm failing at this, and I'm just.
Then try harder.
Then that means try harder.
Try
Yeah.
harder.
Then you have to
also
reevaluate
might
your
not
shit.
know. You just might not know that you like to do something else, right?
That's true too.
Like he might say, like, you know, the thing that's stopping me from trying online stuff is like my ego. But there's like a other side to that same, you know, sword where it's like the thing that's allowing you to go and try something else is support from your friends. Like I say this all the time. Like when to answer that question, when it's like, how do you stay positive during failure? I've said this before on this channel. I'll say it again. To me, it always comes down to my support system and my friends and my peers. Because
What if you don't have
when I'm in a
friends?
funk, if you don't have friends,
We'll circle back
then
to
you
that.
already failed.
Thank you. Thank you.
But no, that's the real deal. Like anytime, and this probably happened to me twice in my life where I've gotten to like a serious funk, like something, I just couldn't, you know, it was just a lot right here.
Yeah.
The thing that got me out of that wasn't necessarily the variables of my life and my circumstances. That was my perspective on them. It was my people around me, right? At the lowest point I ever had, I literally had to rationale with myself and be like, all right, who is my homie? Who's willing to kick with me? And I'm looking at those people. I'm like, these are great human beings. So like, if they're good people, I have to be okay at least, and that would help me. You know what I mean? Or when they're telling me, hey, try this, try that. That stuff and being able to rely on the support of people that I trust, that maybe I value their opinion, especially in the time of my own darkness of vision. Like that's the kind of stuff that gets me going. I don't talk about this much, or definitely not as much as Joe, but I was in that same boat. I also had my hands on over $1 million this past year, and I lost it as well.
Yeah.
From what?
We all got invested into the same shit.
It's so funny to make fun of my failures, huh?
I was in charge. I thought.
That's a good joke, Jason.
I just wanted to say orgies.
Way to fit it in, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's the theme of the day.
I was thinking about your failures. I didn't. Yeah.
But no, like seriously, it's like going from that, I had really, really good friends around me at that time that I like really, like they helped me cope. And I will never share like the depths of how like far into my failure I felt. But if I didn't have very, very close people at that time supporting me,
100%.
like that shit would have been way harder to deal with.
Yep.
If I didn't have even homies in this group that were calling and just like, yo, are you good?
Yeah.
That would have fucking, I probably would have been in way more darkness. So having a support system, having a group of people that can think clearer than you when you're in times of darkness, I think is super, super helpful.
And we all bounced back together. I think the shared experience made the blow a little bit less bad, I think.
Totally.
Because we all had each other that were like, we lost almost all of our fortunes. Like with nothing left in our bank account. That was pretty fucking hard.
That's crazy.
And mentally too, when you're there, especially in this part of the adult life, I remember thinking crazy thoughts. I was like, dude, I'm gonna retire dancing. You know what I mean? Like you put yourself in a totally different lifestyle mindset. You know what I'm saying? And then something very drastic happens as you quote unquote out of your control, and suddenly you have to like switch all these wires again.
You were on the same boat? Sorry to interrupt. Oh shit.
Yeah. But you know, like again, like the very, very first thing that happened after that, after like in your mind nothing but like despair and loss, is you realize nothing in your life is really that different than before you even had that grasp.
It's all in the head.
Yeah.
It's all just numbers in an account. It's all in the head.
It's the same. It's still right there.
But then also too, for your guys' situation, like you could choose, and I think sometimes people get wrapped up in this where I don't want to say like choosing to be a victim about certain things is just not helpful for anybody, right? Like you could sit there and be like, fuck, I lost it all. And like that could be what your world is. But sometimes, like you said, like pivoting to other things and looking to the other direction of like my support and understanding that like, oh yeah, pulling back the lens a little bit and understanding that your life isn't that different from what you thought you had before. So sometimes it's a matter of just reframing and just realizing that, okay, I lost that. It is what it is. Let's just move forward. And simple, like that mental shift of just like, all right, what's next? That's the only thing you can do too.
Two things. One, I just want to say that real quick that it's so cool that to have everybody here that had in a fucked up situation and then came back and then are able to share. That's so nice.
Yeah.
And then because you guys are okay with you know yourself a little bit more, and you also, because that's why I feel like you all have empathy. That's so nice because not every group has that. That's one. And two, I forgot number two after.
But like it's
but I just want to say that.
But everyone goes through something like that, right? Like everybody goes through some multiple.
But not everybody come out of it. Oh, that's my number two.
Oh, okay, yeah. Got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Wavelength, my boy.
That's so nice.
But I do think like what everyone has gone through to get to that point of confidence, right? Like going through multiple, what other people will say failures, I would just say challenges of proving to yourself you can do something. That gets you ready for that mental endurance of risk and loss. So like, it has to happen over increments of time. Like the more you separate from doing what you're told to do and more you go into doing what you tell yourself to do, you start to build up a different view of the world. And now instead of being a reaction to what happens to whatever's going on in the world, you're no longer a victim. Now you're in control of your destiny. And then you no longer question, can I do this? Now it's just, I'm gonna do it and spend time toward doing it. And then when you're there, you forget that time when you used to be afraid of doing something. Even like someone who's like, hey, I'm gonna try dancing. You probably might see it in your students or whatever, like someone's afraid to even try working out or try because their mind is like, I don't think I'm capable of doing it. And we're like, you're so stupid. All you gotta do is practice. Everyone's capable. Yeah. But then that's the stage that you forget that you're in.
And people could stay there for the rest of their fucking life.
It's a really big mental shift, and it reminds me of this analogy that this monk made where it's like, if you're drowning in the river, those are your problems, right? You're drowning in a river, but if you can imagine yourself watching the river, then you're out of it. It's like stepping away and changing your perspective. It's like, most people don't realize they're even in that river. It's like, but if you step away from it and you look at it as a river, it's like, oh shit, I'm not in it anymore. You know, so it's like for you, the whole crash and everything, it's like, but you got to remember, it's like, you're still here, you still got people, you still got, you know, you still got you, and you can build it back. So
the same people love me and the same people hate me. Nothing changed.
Yeah, it's really hard to see it though.
Exactly. That's why you got to use analogies, man.
But also, don't you think you just figure it out? You'll figure it out.
In time. It's just time.
Yeah, but in time.
This was a crazy
Some people
thing.
are impatient.
When crypto and Luna and stuff like that crashed and we like lost all our
coming
money
back,
in a
though.
really short period of time. There were people, you remember this, there were people that were straight up committing suicide. They were just offing themselves. I remember like in that week, there was like over 8 people that like straight up committed suicide. But my personal journey, I also remember like friends calling me who knew I was a part of it and were like, yo, like I heard like the stuff's going down, like, are you okay? And then I remember being like, oh yeah, I'm fine. But then thinking to myself like, thank you for calling me. That's holy shit. Like,
love.
I think I'm good. Yeah, let me check myself. But because you asked me, you know, and it's like you end up realizing that the most valuable things, you know what I'm saying, like are oftentimes like still right there if you just happen to pay attention to that versus the thing that you're going through.